It's January 2023 and we're going to enjoy the San Diego Zoo. Both my husband and I have been coming here since before we can remember, him since the 60s and me since the 70s. Things I didn't know about the San Diego Zoo was that in 1915, following the Panama, California Exposition, a number of exotic animals were left abandoned at their exhibits. How sad. And in 1921, the San Diego Zoo was created as a permanent home for these animals. So what a great way to start. Our story is where they started. They have pioneered the concept of cageless exhibits, and they have over 3,700 animals and counting, and more than 650 species. They have a huge conservation effort that extends not only here at the San Diego Zoo, but up at the San Diego Zoo Safari Park, about 20-30 miles north of this location. I'm just going to help you walk around the zoo with us. We saw the Angolan monkey, which is in a stable population. It was so cool to see their tufts of hair and their super long tails, and also to see how they groom each other. And yes, he's eating bugs off of that other one's coat. Then we saw the tufted capuchin, which is also stable. Lovely to see that. Every single animal, reptile, insect that we saw today was active. This is exactly what we saw. Neither of us have seen so much activity with the animals in all the years we've come here. This is the lion-tailed macaque. Not really sure how to say that, but you can see he's active too. It's fun to watch him survey his land. And this is the orangutan. I mean, who doesn't love a good orangutan? And again, they were very, very active. Look at that young one. Just fun. We wandered through some bird exhibits as well, and the birds were also very active. Again, everybody was moving, eating, flying, hunting, something the whole time we were there. It's quite special to be able to go when there's that type of activity happening. So often you go and nobody's moving or doing anything, and it's not as interesting, but at least you get a chance to see the animals. But in this case, we got a chance to see everybody. This toucan was just beautiful. Look at those vibrant colors on that beak. And again, he was also active, or she, as it were. We then ran into the bears, and this Andean bear, while he was not active, at least he was visible and easy to see. There he is on his little perch. I don't know that I've actually ever seen the grizzly bear in the exhibit. He wasn't moving, but he was there, and it was really cool to get to see him. The African penguins were so much fun. They were swimming and darting about and having a grand time in their enclosure. Now you'll notice there's a net over this space to help keep them in and keep other things out. The sloth bear was up next, and they were sleeping, but I love the little blep. So much fun. And the koalas, oh my goodness. When I first saw the koalas when they first came to the San Diego Zoo, I thought, oh my gosh, they never move. Those poor koalas. Maybe they're bored to death. Maybe they have no enrichment. And then we went to Australia and we realized koalas don't move. In the wild, they just sit there and they eat eucalyptus and they sleep a majority of the day. This is actually probably the most movement I've seen out of any koala, either in Australia or here at the San Diego Zoo. This wrinkled hornbill was very cool. He was right in between the koala exhibits. And the giraffes. We saw so many giraffes when we were in Africa. Go see that video. But the point is that we got an opportunity to really get up close and personal with the giraffe, not only because they were in these open enclosures and we got to see them eat and we got to see the little hoofed animals that were in with them do their thing. And it was also really cool to see the little baby. Just so sweet. It was absolutely gorgeous day. Look at him. Just so happy to be eating and alive. Now they have an opportunity for you to feed a giraffe. So that's exactly what we did. We bought our tickets. It happens on Saturdays and Sundays from noon to 1 p.m. And here's the line. And very happily, we were at the front of the line. In fact, when I stood there, everybody started forming the line behind me. And this goes quick. So there I am, using the camera the wrong way, but you can see the video of me and the giraffe. You're given 3 pieces of food, and the giraffe is fast, man. And here is the same video, but from my husband taking the video. Look at that tongue. See that prehensile tongue there? Look at that. I'm too busy with the damn camera, and he is trying to get the food out of my hand. Fun. We also really enjoyed the cheetahs. There were 2 in this enclosure. We saw cheetahs when we were in Africa, and we will never tired of them. Gotta love that blep. The Tasmanian devil. This is another example of not only getting to see the animal, well, in this case, it's not moving, but I got to see the animal. I can't tell you the number of times I've walked by this enclosure and never seen anything. We had a grand time looking at birds. This is the masked lapwing. We also spent some time with the Komodo dragons. We have not ever seen these live and in the wild. We've seen their smaller cousins, but it was so cool to get to see them and just basking in the sun. A new exhibit is the Hummingbird Habitat, and we love hummingbirds. And we went in, and this is just a long-form video of just everybody flying around. There's no way for me to identify who is who, but you can see what the exhibit itself is like. It's a very large building, and it's open. The birds could have literally landed on your head, and they might even decide to poop on your head if you're in the wrong spot at the wrong time. But they're just flying around. They have a beautiful, it's a little bit more humid, a little warmer. You can see all the different types of birds in there. They have great signage, which you'll see in a few minutes, of who's in there. They had about, at least from what I could see, about 3, maybe 5, I don't know, actual hummingbirds in the exhibit. And I was really hoping for more personally, but my assumption is that this is just a brand new exhibit, so they're just getting started. And so I'm just delighted we got to see what we could see. Was awesome to see these birds in what they consider to be their natural habitat in the water or in the trees. Many of them had nests, which was also interesting. And I would have to say, when we went and looked at the signs, we could pretty much say we saw every bird that they had available. So that was fantastic. And it was great live plants. And here's the signs that I was telling you about. So there's 1, 2, 3 different hummingbirds that I can see. I don't think honey creepers are considered hummingbirds. And then the African jacana was on there too, which is interesting. We saw those when we were in Africa. This guy was so cool with his little purple wings. And I don't know what this guy's name was. I would have to go back and look at the sign. And look at the colors on these guys. Just beautiful. Look at him. Look at that red and white. Beautiful pictures. And we were just using regular cameras. So this is all very accessible. And if you enjoy birds or you have children that enjoy birds, this is absolutely an exhibit you want to take them to, because they'll get to see so many different types of birds. And there's that little purple guy again. And there's him. I don't know why I think they're all he's, but they're beautiful. So much activity. Again, here we are again with everybody was moving, everybody was engaged, everybody was doing something, eating, flying, looking around. This is the bugs area where they talk about butterflies and lots of different types of bugs. It's very fun. to enjoy this area. Now, if you don't like insects, I'm going to go ahead and put timestamps on here and I'll let you know when the insects are done. But there's so many different insects. And again, we got to see them all. I don't know that I've ever seen this many insects. But we saw the Malaysian bush cricket, the lubber grasshopper. Do you see him there? He's even walking around. Check that out. Just cruising around. Dennis was able to get some amazing photos. Check this one out. And then the katydid was hilarious because I didn't see him at first. And then there he was, right before my very eyes. He looked like a leaf, and I totally mistook him for a leaf. The giant flower beetle. You can see how big he is because I'm going to put my finger up. And I don't know that I would be cool with seeing one of these in the wild. And here's the katydid. Again, I don't know that I'd be very good with seeing these in the wild. I think I'd probably be pretty freaked out, but it was so cool to get to see them in this environment. And they were so available to see as well. And here is a walking stick. You can see him right there, and we're going to have a really, right, do you see where my finger is? You see where it looks, oh, see, he's moving right there. Do you see the whole stick moved? There he is. That's the bug right there, the thing that looks like a stick. And this is the dead leaf mantis. He's up there on the light. Apparently they wanted to be near the light. I don't know if it's for the heat or if it's just for the light itself. And the hissing cockroaches were, okay, I'm going to say it, kind of gross looking. I'm sure they serve a purpose, and I'm sure they're fabulous, but I just don't think I could deal if I was near one of those, like personally. The Goliath beetle was another huge beetle. Beautiful, though. I have to say, just beautiful. Look at him. Look at those colors. And then the giant flower beetle is a different kind of beetle, but also very pretty. Beautiful pictures that Dennis took. And this one too. They had an entire exhibit about bees, which I was so gratified about. We worked so hard in our own personal backyard to provide pollination plants, to provide feeders for the pollinators, and it was wonderful to see that they're elevating the plight of the honeybee, especially here in Southern California. Really great to see all the education that they provided around that. In fact, I didn't realize that there were so many different types of bees. Done with insects mostly. So these are animals that people can find around them. This is the southern tamandua. Not sure how to say that. The caracal was interesting because we actually, again, saw one of these, at least the rear of one of them, when we were in Africa. So it was so cool to see one active and engaged in its enrichment. And look at the enrichment that this guy has. He has little, it's like a feeder that has different compartments, so he has to figure out the puzzle to be able to open it up. That's what they consider enrichment. And he's a binturong. Now we're in the land of reptiles, one portion of reptiles. This is the skink. You'll see a really good picture of him next. Look at that. Beautiful picture. And this is through the heavy glass too, so these are all very accessible. The Mexican black king snake. Now, I don't know why they had these snakes here and then they had the whole other snake section in the normal public works building, but maybe they ran out of room and they had more snakes. I don't know. In that also same area, they also had the squirrel monkey. They were moving around too, super accessible. There was a bunch of them, and they were playing in the rope gymnasium that they had. We also got a chance to see these little turtles. I think they're common to this area, that's why they were showing them. I don't think I took a picture of the sign, so I don't know exactly what kind of turtle this is, but there must have been 10 or 15 of them in the pond, and again, the turtle is moving and active. And then there were two on the rock. Now here we are coming up to the old Works Progress Administration building built in 1936. This is where I'm used to seeing all the different reptiles. Check out this little lizard. Is he too cool or what? Now, this is actually a video, but you wouldn't know it because he didn't move, right? But at least he was available to see. We're going into Snake Land, and this is the standard exhibits that we're used to seeing in this old school snake house, if you will. And this is a king cobra. And you'll see that I go into, right, look between that tree, that faux tree, look in there, you'll see his eye, his little ear hole. Oh, and here's an emerald monitor, and he's on the move as well. Again, everybody was on the move. It was almost surreal that almost everything was moving and active. The green anaconda was doing a total stare down, and its tongue was moving. The shingleback skink was actually really pretty. Look at him. Again, available to be seen. More snakes, very available to see them as well. He was right up against the glass and looking very happy. This is the bush viper. Again, I just really loved how available all of the animals were. Now check this one out. This is the South American green snake. And I'm like, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? And then I saw it and it was moving. I'm like, oh, I wonder where the head is. I wonder where the tail is, because I see the middle of it, and I kept looking and looking, and there it is. And it's moving. I'm like, well, I still don't see the head. So I kept looking and kept looking. And I think the head's over there headed toward the right. And then I look up, and it's coming over the top. You see the head there? Behind the leaves? You see you see the tongue? How cool is that? That's an active snake. Now this is a monitor lizard, a little one. And we saw little lizards like this when we were in the different areas we've gone to. Now the door was open in the back, and I'm like, what the heck is the door doing open? And apparently the lizard was thinking the same thing. He's like, hey, the door is open. What should I be doing here? But he was just checking it out. His tongue is used to smell things, I believe, so he was sticking his tongue out and trying to figure out what he was encountering, and he's thinking about, going for a spin. And then the keeper comes in. We're like, what's going on here? The keeper comes in. Apparently the keeper did not want to deal with the head end of the lizard, because you'll see what happens next. Lizard loses interest, and the keeper just grabs him by the tail, and out he goes. It was so much fun to see this much activity and to see this much interaction. The banded water cobra, again, moving. How cool is that? There's its head in a beautiful picture. And this is a rattlesnake. You see him in the lower left, all coiled up. And different types of mambos and vipers. From here, we headed to the Tiger River area. And we saw this Malayan tiger. He was really cool. In fact, everything was really cool. Then we found yet another bird exhibit. And the crowned eagle was beautiful. Again, moving. How cool is that? And you'll get to see a really interesting picture of him in just a moment here. Look at that. And then right next to that exhibit was the fishing cat. Would love to see one of these in the wild, but super happy I got to see one here. We also visited the gorillas, and they were just chilling out, throwing their foot up against the glass like there was nothing. We thoroughly enjoyed our day at the San Diego Zoo, and this is just the classic picture that we always take when we go to the zoo of us with the gorilla. If you enjoy animals, then you want to come visit the San Diego Zoo. It is considered world famous for so many reasons. I highly suggest you come by and take a look. Thank you for joining us.